We're not politically correct, we just have common sense.
Unscripted, unfiltered, unfaltering. Show of Support's Hunt for Heroes offers tributes and true stories of remarkable courage.
If these terrorists could come in your bedroom and kill you, your wife, and your kids, and that's what these men are fighting to protect us from, these murdering idiots, and they're taking them out so that we don't have to deal with them over here.
Show of Support started it all just after the shock and awe bound a nation together. Now, years of footage portraying wounded veterans, deer stands, and standing ovations. Hunt for Heroes, that started as one man's way to say thanks, is now a series that many say is way overdue.
I ain't never felt like that before, and I want to feel that again.
It's just a raw emotion.
They left us being loved and being honored for the heroes that they are.
We still have 40,000 injured troops.
If you threaten our people and our way of life, we will find you wherever you may be hiding, in the place you feel most safe, and we'll kill you in your own bedroom. Thank you for being a country worth fighting for. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
It's going to take a while to get around all of them, but there's no quitting. It'll never stop as long as I'm breathing.
Show of Support Hunt for Heroes is made possible through a partnership with Pioneer Natural Resources, Boss Blinds, Kel-Tec, Tico Field Service, Double J Ranches, and CBT Charities.
It was like being in a foreign country. There was ice everywhere. It was unbelievably cold. It was freezing rain. All the moisture that was on the ground had frozen on the surface, and it was dagger-like. Absolutely the last thing I expected in West Texas. I remember thinking, I wonder if I have enough cold weather gear. And number two, being able to sustain any thermobaric heat in those conditions.
Decorated combat hero, Major Rusty Bradley, craves deer hunting, craves being in the rolling West Texas landscape. With hunting guide Cody Arrington, Rusty returns to a place he's been before. A place where years before, Cody and Rusty hunted predators and whitetail bucks.
Literally, it felt like someone who had opened the door on the icebox, and we were inside the icebox. And when you can physically see how Texas had become a tundra, you couldn't make this up. You get this innocent sense of exhilaration when you see that animal and you feel that excitement and that tingle. It's not like something you feel in a war zone. This is something that you remember, that makes you reminisce as a child. And when you see that first deer, you catch yourself just scanning from the antlers to his nose, to his hooves, to his tail, to the ridge in his back. And it takes you to that place of innocence where the whole world is viewed as a teenager again. Even if I don't bring a deer home, that's what I think about the first time I see a deer on the first day of deer season.
Like anyone who hunts whitetail deer, Rusty is mesmerized by the first nice buck of the year. Only thing is, he's lacking one thing: age.
As the deer took a couple more steps into view, Cody kind of reached over and put his hand on my left arm, because with my right arm I was reaching for my rifle. In the mountains of North Carolina, there is no doubt that joker's going on the ground. He looked at me and kind of grinned and said, you can't have this one. And I knew it, but it was worth it to make him stop me.
As time goes by, stillness combines with intense cold to make the hunt nearly unbearable.
We left the blind and headed for the truck, and as we listened to the crunch, crunch, crunch of the ice underneath our feet, I remember thinking, this is not going to be the standard West Texas deer hunt.
Rusty Bradley is correct. This is about to become anything but your average West Texas deer hunt. But then Special Forces Major Bradley is anything but your average soldier. As Show of Support Hunt for Heroes continues, stay with us. In the searing desert of Afghanistan, Special Forces Commander Rusty Bradley assembles and organizes an elite unit of fighters with an objective that turns into a death trap. Facing unsurmountable odds, Rusty leads his men through a fierce firefight that results in one of the most unlikely victories in history. In his book, The Lions of Kandahar, Rusty Bradley tells the incredible story of determination, heroism, and a spirit that defies explanation.
I wrote the book for my men. I didn't write the book for myself. I've been very thankful because no matter what, now it is in the National Archives that the men that I lost there and the sacrifices of my soldier will forever be in ink and can never be forgotten. I am absolutely not a hero. All the heroes that I know are in Dallas National Cemetery in Arlington. Many of the physical conditions are absolutely similar to Afghanistan. You have searing dry heat. It's a place where only the toughest people in the world survive. And you know, when you look at Texans, you see how they've mastered their climate and their conditions. And not only did they master it, but they thrived there, and you can't beat that.
In the 10-year history of Show of Support, the banquet that precedes the deer hunt is always a sold-out, standing room-only event in Midland, Texas.
Major Rusty Bradley. Let's give him a Midland welcome.
Rusty takes the stage to a standing ovation. He has a no-nonsense, no political correctness message that is pure, heartfelt, red, white, and blue, bold message to America.
For those who don't know me, I should probably start by warning you that we're about to leave the politically correct zone. And if you have tender sensibilities and some of this offends you, then you might need to go see your therapist. I wanted people to understand that what I was about to tell them was truly heartfelt, and if they didn't like it, I really didn't care. Take my word for it, this country is the last vanguard of freedom left in the world.
In his powerful words, Major Rusty Bradley is about to announce something that will knock the crowd off balance and bring them to their feet.
In 2007, I was one of the 25 privileged service members who were allowed to go on a deer hunt, but me and my wife, our lives were changed because of what we experienced here. I decided to refuse my medical discharge. I served 6 more years and deployed 5 more times to Afghanistan. Without a doubt, I can tell you that more enemies of this great land perished at my hand because of what this organization did for me.
Never in the history of Show of Support had the people in West Texas received such a gift. Knowing that their efforts of honoring veterans would inspire one fighter to return to battle and kill more Islamic idiots. On behalf of the people in Midland, it further illustrates the level of patriotism in this part of the country, and a level of extreme patriotism found deep in the heart of a man like Rusty Bradley.
Our armed forces represent the best of this country, and our ability to send a global message that if you threaten our people, if you threaten our way of life, if it takes us 10 years, we'll find you wherever you may be hiding, in the place you feel most safe, and we'll kill your ass in your own bedroom. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
The rest of America can thank God for Rusty Bradley. The rest of America can thank God for the spirit of West Texas. And the rest of America can thank God for a man named Terry Johnson, who started Show of Support Hunt for Heroes.
put another one on your rifle, because you ruined me.
Rusty Bradley gets his first taste of West Texas horn rattling when Show of Support Hunt for Heroes continues.
I think the reason that I have such an appreciation and affinity for the people of West Texas and people in Texas in general is because there is a genuine patriotic appreciation within their very soul.
Midland, Texas, just days before a massive winter storm is set to slam into the whole region. Hundreds gather to welcome the warriors and their wives to this year's Show of Support Hunt for Heroes. On the corner of an empty lot, a dedication takes place to honor 4 heroes killed in a tragic train accident exactly 1 year ago. This area will be called Heroes Plaza. Of all the names from that terrible day, Gary Stauffer, Lawrence Boyman, Josh Michael. When Rusty Bradley hears the name William Lubers, he struggles to maintain his composure.
You have to give me a minute, Brian.
Those who knew him well call him Willie. Sergeant Major Lubers left a legacy of bravery, optimism, and solid leadership in the United States Army.
To me, Willie represents everything that I grew up and loved and knew about America. When he walked into a room, it seemed like he was 1,000 feet tall, and when things got bad, you know, he was the guy that would legitimately walk up and say, poor bastards, they got us surrounded, now we can shoot in any direction. And he was my friend.
Rusty Bradley may be a celebrated rider and decorated combat commander, but he is humble to the core when asked to stand in at the groundbreaking for his friend's spot at Heroes Plaza. It's a tribute backed by a promise that the name William Lubers will always be sacred in the hearts and minds of people in Midland, Texas.
I want people to remember men like him because not only does he deserve it, but it'll make their lives better if they understand men like him really lived. Men like him really served this country. And I could care less about sports heroes and actors and people with money and politicians. I've walked with heroes. What the hell have you done? That's what men like Willie Lubers deserve to be remembered for.
That winter storm made its presence known just hours after the groundbreaking ceremony. As Rusty and his guide, Cody Arrington, fight their way into a ground blind, both hope this hunt will turn out better than their first attempt the day before.
There was really a moment when I was sitting in the blind and you don't feel threatened. You feel like you're a teenage boy again and you're happy to be alive.
There's a dozen does out there and there's no bucks to be seen.
As deer begin to filter into the clearing, Cody Arrington has a gut feeling any mature bucks won't make an appearance.
He's coming in right now. What's he look like, Cody?
Cody knows it's another young buck, and it gets him thinking about a new plan.
Cody made the recommendation that we were going to go out and rattle. I was a little bit surprised because I had never actually rattled for deer before. I had seen it done on TV, and to tell you the truth, I was a little bit skeptical of it.
Man, it is cold.
but I was more than willing to try anything that would get me out of that blind and get me warm and moving again. This was an opportunity to hunt the way we did in the mountains when I was a boy.
Rusty Bradley gets his circulation and adrenaline going in overdrive as Show of Support Hunt for Heroes continues.
As long as I'm moving, my legs are okay. But when I sit down, they get cold.
We picked a particular spot where there was a valley. We went down the valley and had a short walk. We came up the valley upwind, so we set up by an old fence line. Hunting on the ground while rattling is an experience in and of itself because you legitimately feel like a hunter again.
Under dark skies, in a blanket of ice, hunting guide Cody Arrington begins clashing the calcium here on the Rockin' Chair Ranch. Major Rusty Bradley waits for something he's always heard about but never witnessed before. Within seconds, Cody and Rusty hear the ice crunch behind them. It's a young buck, not much to brag about, but for the first buck rattle, it's enough to get Rusty's blood pumping for the next stand.
You just feel like I'm so happy to be here in this massive frozen rainstorm in West Texas because this is a lot of fun.
After moving quite a ways, Cody gives it another antler chorus, breaking the silence of the landscape locked in ice.
Cody had just given me the green light to take this deer. And the truth was, is I was having so much fun, I didn't really want it to end. And he was doing such a good job of rattling, that deer could not resist trying to find out what we were and where we were. And I was afraid that if I took this deer, that this experience would end. So I decided not to take him and just enjoy the beauty and the view. It was the most fun that I have had in a long time to be able to be on the ground and all your senses come alive and you are a hunter in West Texas. We never moved because Cody was just rattling in deer after deer. And this deer came from the same direction as the first deer. He was about 120 yards out and he had a low wide rack and he was too young to take. And it was again just part of the experience of being able to naturally draw in these animals, their curiosity and their breeding habits. And it was an experience that I just didn't want to end. And this was just a beautiful morning.
It's a small bait.
He's in full rut. He's got that big, beautiful neck, straight back. His legs are taut. He's ready to kick. He's ready to take off. He just could not stand the idea of somebody else fighting in the little valley that we were in, and he wanted to take a look. And that just goes to show what a good job Cody was doing. He was bringing in deer from all over the place. This was a small buck that came in from the east to the west on the north side of the valley. And I think what he had done was he had seen some of the much bigger bucks being drawn in here, and he could obviously see and smell where the other bucks had been. And he was too small of a deer to kill. And this is one of those instances where curiosity would have easily killed the cat if we were trying to put meat on the table. We were in such a perfectly placed camouflage location that all he could hear was the rattling. He couldn't even see us. On this deer, we couldn't see any brow tines, but he was just perfectly motionless. He was watching us where the noise was being, where the rattling was generated from. He was watching the younger deer come over and be curious, and he wasn't about to give his position away at all. And I thought that was really interesting to see an older deer like that let younger deer make mistakes. That's why he was getting to be an older deer. This was a mature buck that came in initially, and we saw him after we first started rattling, and he couldn't help himself but come back in and take a second look. Now we have 3 deer within range inside the valley, and it just goes to credit Cody for his skills.
As the morning progresses, the bucks concentrate on Cody's rattling horns. Bucks that won't give up, freezing rain that won't let up, and a warrior who won't ever forget this vivid memory of whitetail bucks at their best.
Oh, you got me spoiled now. I don't ever want to sit in a deer stand.
Major Rusty Bradley, his legacy and his deep appreciation for the men he lost in a terrible place called Kandahar will stay with him forever. So, if only for a few hours, an American warrior finds something to smile about, something to remember in a frozen West Texas landscape.
In 1776, Thomas Paine wrote, "If there's to be trouble, let it be in my time, that my children may know peace."